Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode one of the HockeyScape podcast with Sam Hossack, presented by Sam Hossack Media. It is my absolute honor to welcome now to the show our very first guest. She began her collegiate career at The Ohio State University, where she would spend 4 seasons playing in 107 career games before finishing her career as a captain at the University of Wisconsin. She is currently an assistant coach with the Syracuse University women's ice hockey team and plays for the Buffalo Buttes. It's my pleasure to welcome to the show Claudia Kepler.
Hi, thanks for having me. Sam, I like your shirt.
Thank you. Now we'll get right into things here. Uh, Getting into your early life, when did you start playing hockey?
I started playing hockey when I was around the age of 3 or 4. My dad put my brother and I on skates when we were about 2 years old, and we go skate on the lake in Madison. So I started at an early age.
Now, at what age did you kind of realize that you actually wanted to play hockey and kind of take it seriously?
Probably when I saw my first Badger hockey game. Like I think my dad took my brother and I, and then from then on, just on the ice all the time.
Now, growing up, did you always play with girls, or was it kind of a mixture of growing up playing with guys and then into girls?
I grew up starting playing with boys. I was pretty much the only girl on my team. Um, and I grew up playing with my brother. And then right about the age where you could start checking, there was this girls' team in the area. It was called the Wisconsin Ice Spirit. My dad told me, "Hey, go out there, give it a try. It's all girls' team." And from that point on, I came home after the first practice, and I could not stop smiling. I was laughing the whole practice. I had so much fun. I was like, "Yep, Dad, I'm going to play girls hockey from now on." So that was the point where once I was able to be surrounded by all girls and be on a hockey team, I felt like I belonged, and that's when I started playing with girls.
Now we'll go past your high school days here and now into the commitment process for Ohio State University. When did you commit, and when did you know Ohio State was the school for you?
My recruiting process was a little tough at first, just because I would say that as a player, I was like a late bloomer. I didn't really start knowing where I wanted to go or gauging what type of school I wanted to go to until late junior year. And going into my senior year in the fall is when I committed to Ohio State. And it was really the only school I had that had heavily interest in me. So from there, that's where I felt wanted. And from that point, I was like, "This, I'm going to go with this. It's a big school. It's Big Ten. It kind of reminds me of Madison a little bit." And I just went with my gut on it, and I met a lot of great people while I was there.
Now take us through your first NCAA game. What were the nerves like, and how did you prepare for it?
I think it was against Mercyhurst. I had to actually look it up when you sent me the questions. I had to look it up. It was 2013, 2014 season. It was against Mercyhurst, and I think that full week of practice, I was just like, I got to work on getting the puck out. Like the game's faster. The last thing I want is a turnover in the D zone as winger. So I worked on getting the puck out and doing breakouts. Get the puck out, get it in deep, and change. That's what I worked on.
Now take us through your first NCAA goal. Who was it against, and what was going through your head when the puck went in the net?
So my first goal was actually against Wisconsin at Wisconsin. And it was weird because like a week before something, I had an empty net shot that the goalie was pulled. I shot the puck from the red line or something like that, and it just ended up not going in. So that was my attempt at my first goal. And I was close to it, but I didn't get it. So at Wisconsin, my first shift, the coach started me. My whole family was there. I was a freshman the whole time. I was just thinking like, okay, don't trip going up to the starting lineups. Just have a good first shift. And I ended up getting the puck in the slot, and I just kind of shot it on net, and it went 5 hole. I think it was more of a luck goal than anything else, but it felt like a dream. It felt like a movie, being able to score my first goal in front of like all my family and friends back in Madison. So,
Now, take us through some of your favorite memories of playing at Ohio State.
favorite memories, probably just hanging out with some of my friends at Ohio State. We had a cool setup once we moved out of the dorms. There's this townhouse on 11th Ave, and there's about four of us that lived upstairs, and three of them lived downstairs. So it was the hockey house, and we were nonstop hanging out with each other like every day. And I think that's when most of my like favorite memories came from Ohio State. So.
Now, if you could go back now and give your younger self a bit of advice now that you've played your whole college career, what would it be?
Just keep showing up and doing the work. Um, there was a time my freshman year where I just like I didn't know where, in terms of being in a lineup or like how I matched up with like the rest of the hockey players. And all I did was I showed up and I did the work. Um, and you can't really control what type of success you have, exactly how you have it planned out in your head. But you can show up and you can do the work and you can outwork anyone else. You got to make sure that you're working harder than anyone else on the other teams and you bring your friends along with you. Um, and that, I mean, just being prepared and working hard will also help control any worries that you may have about success. As long as you're showing up, like I said, showing up and doing the work, you can't really control what else happens. Um, and that kind of brings down some worry as well, like performance anxiety and stuff like that. So.
Now, after playing 107 career games with Ohio State, you had a transfer year. So take us through that and kind of what led to the decision to switch to University of Wisconsin.
Um, we had there was a time where there was like three different head coaching changes in about 3 years. So, um, after my junior year, I was just in a spot where I just wanted to enjoy hockey again, and I think through all the changes, it kind of affected me as a player. Um, so I reached out to see if I could transfer back home where I knew that I would have a good time, I would have fun. Um, and it ended up working out really really awesome for me, and it was a dream come true to be able to go back home to Wisconsin and play in front of my family and friends. So
Now, talk about adjusting to a new school. Obviously, you're back home where you felt more comfortable and you were named a captain in your first season with the team. So just take us to getting named captain there.
yeah, I honestly didn't expect that one. At my redshirt year, I just was always on the ice working hard. I was enjoying my time, just being able to um, be at home and to work on the things that I've always wanted to work on without having the stress of school and performing well in games. So having that red shirt year really helped me adapt to a new environment and a new team. Um, and I made a lot of great friends along the way, and I think that helped as well. Um, and in terms of getting captain, like I said, I didn't expect it, but it was a great honor to wear the C in Madison, and we had a great season. And I was co-captain with Bailey Wellhausen, and it turned out, she was a player that I grew up playing with in camps locally. We were both Wisconsin girls growing up, so it was really fun to go out that way.
Now, what were some of your favorite memories from that season?
Definitely the one that really comes to mind was playing in the NCAA quarterfinal game at LeBon. I think they sold out every seat, and they had like standing room available, and they sold that out. Like it was packed house. And of course, like I was so nervous, like my hands were shaking going in the game because it was against Minnesota, a border battle going to the. This is like to determine who goes to the Frozen Four. So it was one of the most nerve-wracking and exciting games I've ever been a part of, and it felt so great to come out with a win and end up going to the Frozen Four after that. So
Now, talk about obviously Wisconsin has a big history, and the last couple of years they've been really good. So, talk about being an alumni and seeing the girls' team have the success they've had the last 3 seasons.
yeah, I mean, I'm nothing but proud to be a Badger. Like I grew up being a Badger fan. It's all I wanted when I was a kid, and to see them have success year after year just shows you like how great of a program it is and how like professional they treat their program. And they have so much support locally from the city of Madison and from the university. So I'm super proud to see them every year make a good run with their season. So
Now, if you could go back, would you change anything about your college career or where you went?
no, I think oh well I did deal with a lot of adversity. There was a lot of changes and there were a lot of tough moments with hockey that I had to go through, but a lot of it helped me become and made me who I am today. And as much as I would like to not go through some of those hard things, like they really did change my perspective on a lot of things and uh that I wouldn't want to change for anything. So
Now, what's one bit of advice you give to a college player today? And remember, being an assistant coach, all the Syracuse girls will be listening to this. So,
yeah. Well, I like to tell them like a couple years from now, like what you think is like maybe it's a problem or an issue that you may think is like super important and is frustrating, and a couple years from now you're going to look back and you say, oh, maybe that wasn't as big of a deal as it was. Or um and I think what I mean by that is that I try to get them to take a lot of pressure off themselves because they're there to enjoy their time. And I know all of them really just want to have a good season. They want to play their best and they want to be perfect. And that's really, really hard to do. And no one can be perfect. So I like to say, you know, a couple years from now, this isn't what's going to matter is your teammates. What's going to matter is having fun, playing the game that you love and working hard and learning things along the way. So that's the biggest thing is trying to, you know, gauge a perspective while you're a player and going into your college career of what really does matter and what maybe doesn't. And um, like I said, teammates, working hard, your schoolwork, those things all matter, and trying to gain a great perspective on those things. Yeah.
now, a lot of girls that finish up their senior year, they'll enter the NWHL draft or PHF draft and head to professional that way. After your senior year at the University of Wisconsin, you headed over to Sweden. So, talk about heading over there. What was the experience like, and how long did it take to adjust to living overseas?
Yeah, I was super excited to head overseas. I went over with one of my buddies, Jess Healy. She's played for University of Duluth, and we were roommates in Jönköping, is a city in Sweden. Played for HV71. It was really cool. I was excited to start living like the a little bit like the professional hockey lifestyle, where all you had to worry about was hockey, and that was really cool. I got to focus just going to the rink. That was my job. I got to do extra workouts because I had time. I got to take care of my body the way I wanted to, and most importantly, I got to enjoy a new culture, a new country, and explore with some of my friends. So it was an awesome experience, and I think a lot of players, when they're graduating college, they should think about maybe exploring a different country while playing, or look into those opportunities because they are life changing as well. So
Now, what are some of the crazier things you guys experienced while over there?
probably like the different types of food. Overseas, they like to eat like I don't know, like I know in Sweden they have like the paste in the tubes or whatever. They're flavored. You put it on the crackers. I don't think I was able to try some of those. It was tough to look at that, but different types of food. Now there was really good Swedish fika that I loved. It's where you go and get coffee and like a pastry. They have all these different types of pastries, and we call it's fika. That's what they call it over there. Um, we did that like every day, so I ate a lot of pastries.
Now, the first time you went into a grocery store, did you ever buy the wrong thing thinking it was something else?
I tried to. Probably. I don't think I could like if anything it was probably like in the dairy section like I meant to get like yogurt and got sour cream or something, but I tried to stick to like the outside of the store so when you look at something you're like, "Oh yeah, that's a tomato." Like I don't need a label for that. But um yeah, that I would stick to the outside and brand names just so it'd be easier, but there's definitely some things that we like to try. Like we picked up different types of like chocolate or different pastries. Like I said, that like we're so into trying new things. And we even looked up some Swedish recipes like to cook at home. So it was all fun.
Now, what was your living arrangement like over there? Was it in a nice apartment, or did you have kind of a small place?
No, it was an awesome place. It was like a townhouse. We lived on the like a duplex. We lived on the top part, and our landlord and his family lived below us, and they were so nice to us. They were the best people ever. They always came up and offered us like food from their leftovers from their dinner, or they'd always check in on us and take us to the grocery store. And it was a beautiful view. We had this deck and it would look out on one of the lakes that's in Yanchiping, and it was gorgeous. It was absolutely gorgeous. So it was an awesome setup.
That's awesome. I had a couple buddies go over there last year, and I, from what I heard, the living experience wasn't as
Oh,
beautiful as you
really?
just described. Yeah, yeah. One of my buddies, Ethan Cardwell, he's on the Showbound podcast. He went over with a couple of his buddies, and they had like I think it was two rooms and a closet basically, and one of them slept in the closet the one night after getting a goal and an assist. So I mean, they called it the grease closet, I think, but I was laughing at him with it a little bit whenever we talk about it. So yeah,
uh,
some people get used to living over in Sweden for a year, and some people don't, I guess. So
yeah, yeah, for
now,
sure.
did you ever have to speak Swedish at any point during the season, or were you able to go over and kind of have someone that would understand what was being said?
Um, a little bit of both. Like depending on like a lot of people in Sweden they start learning English on the side when they're in second grade. So a lot of them actually know a good amount of English. So like if I was ever struggling, I could ask like, "Do you speak English?" And they'd be like, "A little," or "Yes." Like they would get super excited because they know how to do it. And so that was really cool because it was once you started to learn like the basic words that you needed to go to the grocery store stuff, it actually got pretty easy. And if you ever needed to ask, most people knew how to speak English or at least knew someone close to them that could and that could help you. Um, Another time where I had to speak Swedish, which was really fun, was we would have we would coach this youth girls program every Tuesday, and it was just so fun because we had a translator on the ice, and we would speak, and then he would speak back to the girls, and then we would just kind of have to like exchange by like hand signals, like yeah, and it was really fun. And I got to learn a couple words. I probably don't even remember them now, but it was a good time. It was a good time.
Now, a lot of places overseas have bigger ice, so playing on the bigger ice was an adjustment for you.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I think the biggest part is like when you're on the bigger ice, like any turnover, you're skating like three or four more strides to go get the puck. So that's the hardest part. It's like a like in Sweden, like their preseason workouts, it's all running, and I understand why now because like it's a bigger ice surface. They need to be able to move on the ice, um, and yeah, like anytime you miss the net, it rims around. You got to go get it. You got to go that much more further. So it is a different game, but you have more time and space. So it was fun to adjust to that and learn how to better my game in different ways on that or ice surface. So
Now, after that season with HV71, you headed over to China, which right now probably isn't the nicest place to be in. But you spent a full season over there. Take us through what led to leaving Sweden for China and what were some of the experiences like.
it was really cool to be over there, and we actually had a really good setup. Like our apartment was really nice, and we had So everyone in our organization, we lived in the same apartment complex, which made it super easy and comfortable to live in because anything that we needed was right in that apartment complex. And we also had um, kind of like a buffet meal for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So anything in regards to food was super easy as well because we just go downstairs and our dinner was ready. And then anything outside of that, we could go explore, to go to the malls. And I was super excited about the whole experience. I mean, like I love exploring new cultures and I mean some of the things that they have, like their cities are beautiful. Going to Beijing, that was really cool to see. I got to see like the transformation from the 2008 Summer Olympic buildings. And when we were there, they were gearing up for the Olympics that are now. So we saw them working on changing like the ice cube or the water cube and turning it into an ice cube basically. So it was really cool to see. I loved my experience there, and the people there were so nice to us and so welcoming. So
Now, what was it like adjusting to a new language, kind of in a new city?
Um, well, we also had translators on our team, so that was really helpful. But it was a little bit different than in Sweden. I think when we'd go out and about, like go to this local Starbucks or something like that, and we needed directions, it was a little bit harder to find people that spoke like fluent or like half fluent English. So in that way we really had to use our Google like translator apps. And but we had a solid group of us, like we had a good group of friends and we would always explore together. And the Chinese players on our team that spoke fluent Chinese were awesome. They came with us everywhere and they were so helpful, like so helpful. Like if we wanted help with ordering something online, we'd go right up to their rooms and they'd just show us how to do everything. It was great. Like they were so welcoming and they're fun to hang out with. It was really cool.
Now, what were some of the craziest experiences you had while over there?
I think the coolest part was being able to play in Beijing. We were there for a couple weeks and we were able to go to the Great Wall of China. And that was something where like you see pictures of it and like you learn about it in school, but then you're standing on it, like you're like, holy cow, like I'm on the Great Wall of China. Like this is really cool. Like it's one of those like, am I in a dream moments? Like I'm on the Great Wall of China. Like this is amazing. Like it was really cool to be a part of that. So
Now, talk about some of the friendships you made over there and what they mean to you now being back in North America.
yeah, I think like being in a different country and meeting all different types of people with different backgrounds, like it's an awesome experience, and I think it bonds you in a way that is really hard to explain. And but you become close friends with everyone, um, and to this day, you still keep in touch with people. I mean, our core group of people, we still have a group chat and we still send things to each other every now and then and say like, hey, remember when we did this or blah blah, blah. And it always puts a smile on my face. So like even though like we may be living in different cities now, like having those friendships like will remain for like a lifetime. We experience something so cool all together. So
Now, that season, you guys won a championship. So take us through what it was like and how amazing a feeling that was.
yeah, it was really cool. We went through some adversity because at the time we were in Shenzhen, and then we found out that COVID, like the new virus, was arriving, and we had to make a quick decision. Like, okay, how are we going to finish the season? Most of our season was in Russia, so we packed our bags, and last minute we got out and we moved to Russia. So we spent 6 weeks in St. Petersburg, which was really cool. Great city. We explored, we had a good time, but it was all kind of like it all happened so quickly. We didn't really have time to process it. And I think that kind of gave us a little bit of struggle here and there towards the end of our season. But it was good to come out on top. Like we didn't really, I mean, UFA was a great team. We played them in the championship game, and that series was tough. Like they, every time we played them, we came out with like bumps and bruises. Like it was a tough game. So to come out and win the whole thing after all the adversity was really cool. It felt awesome.
Now we'll transition into coaching at Syracuse. You're an assistant coach with the women's team there. So take us through how that opportunity arose and why you wanted to get into coaching.
Yeah. So I wanted to get into coaching because of my experiences that I had as a player. And a lot of that is because of the coaching changes that we had. And I was able to learn a lot from many different college coaches. And same time, I was very fortunate to have a lot of great youth coaches growing up in the Madison area. So I felt like, I had a lot of good knowledge on like how to approach the game and how to spread the love of the game and encourage others. My mom's an educator and she's awesome at it. And so growing up, I was able to watch firsthand how to like educate and be passionate about teaching. So I wanted to put hockey and education together, and that's when I really realized like, hey, like I really like coaching skill development. I started doing camps, um, and then, you know, after playing overseas and stuff like that, I still wanted to be involved with the game. I saw that there were a few job openings. I didn't really know if I was going to get a position at the Division 1 level right away, but I just thought I'd put my name out there. At the time, I was still like training and, hoping a hockey opportunity would come my way. So I didn't really know what to expect, and then I ended up getting a call with the job offer after a couple interviews, and I was like kind of shocked, but also like super excited. And I was like, well, I guess I'm gonna be a college hockey coach now. So yeah, it's cool. It's cool, cool thing to go through over summer, and I'm happy I'm here. So
Now, what's your funniest coaching story? Have you been yelled at by a ref or anything yet?
no, I'm pretty good on the bench. um, I don't know. I would say probably more embarrassing coaching story was like earlier in the year, like I was watching a drill and one of the drills, and girls were going down and they're shooting on the goalies, and the, the rebounds were going really hard into the corners and the pucks were sliding along the edge of the boards, and I was standing by the blue line. I didn't There was a lot of pucks that came past and behind me, and I didn't see one of the pucks. So I stepped backwards, and of course I stepped on a puck. I just tumbled down. My feet came right out under me, and I caught myself. My baggage was fine. I stood up. I felt fine, whatever, but I was just a little embarrassed. And then I went for a run after practice, trying to shake off the fall a little bit. And the next day I woke up and my back was just, I couldn't walk. I was in the, so I had to go, I was like hunched over into the training room, and Shelby, our athletic trainer, was working on my back so I could be able to coach in like the next 30 minutes. So I was a little embarrassed. Like all the girls walk in, they're like, what is she doing? Like, why is she in the athletic training room? And it was because I hurt my back slipping on a puck. So
Now, what does a normal game day look like for you as a coach? What time do you get to the rink and how do you kind of prepare for the game?
yeah, I mean, normally during the week we practice in the morning. So I'm usually like I get out of bed, I get everything ready, and I go right to the rink for practice in the morning. So on game days, it's kind of nice because I can wake up and kind of have my own morning routine, and have a cup of coffee. I clean my apartment a little bit, get everything set, and then after that, I get going to the rink. I like to do a nice workout or something before, mid afternoon. Do something for myself personally, just to get my body moving. Um, After that, I get ready for the games and I go to the grocery store. I get the girls the snacks, the pregame snacks. Depending on the day, I either get them some nice like Sour Patch Kids or like a surprise. I like to treat them with some surprise snacks. So that's always like the fun part of my day is like going to the grocery store and picking out their pregame snacks. But After that, then I set it all up, and I come back to the rink, and by that time it's from 4 or 5, and we're just kind of hanging around talking about pregame stuff before we get on the bench to go coach. So we hang out in the office, we turn on the NHL network and talk hockey for a bit. So it's fun. I like it. It's definitely a different vibe than playing. So.
Now, take us through your favorite and least favorite road trip in the NCAA.
Well, I haven't really been on, like, as a coach, I really haven't been on too many road trips. Like, I mean, I still have yet to go to Penn State, which is this weekend as a coach, and then Mercyhurst I also have yet to go to. So um, I do have to say that going to Clarkson, it's a little intimidating because you have to walk across the ice, and then some of their fans chant "fall" at you. So it's a little intimidating. So I would say maybe that's one of my least favorite places to go to. And but I was lucky that they had an athletic trainer that had the spikes on the shoes, and he walked me across, and we linked arms. So it was all good. It's all fun. I still, it's cool to go over there and play in that rink. Um, Favorite place to play? Personally, like I played at Penn State a while ago. I think there's maybe one series when I was at Ohio State that I was there. So I'm looking forward to this weekend because I've heard that. I mean, I remember the rink, but I can't clearly remember. But all the girls love going and playing there as well. So I'm looking forward to going to that rink this weekend.
Now, as a coach now, do you dread the arenas that you have to walk across the ice just because you might slip and fall?
Well, I prepare. I always ask, do we have to walk across? And then if they say yeah, like this rink you have to walk across the ice, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get my good shoes on. 'Cause depending on the shoes that you wear, I mean, you could go down pretty quickly. So
Yeah, I work for a team up here doing social media up here in Ontario. And a couple of years ago, I wasn't with the team, but our now assistant coach and our head coach's brother, they went uh, in an admission to get espressos. Like our coaching staff loves espressos. We have an espresso machine in our coaching office just because they all love it. And in the intermission, they had to go to like a Starbucks, I think it was, and you have to walk across the ice in the arena that a team was playing in. And so they thought they had more time than they did. So they come back 5 minutes into the second period and they have to put their espressos in their jackets and then walk across the ice with everyone watching them. So I had a good
oh
chuckle at
god,
that when our GM told me
oh
that a couple
god,
of weeks ago, and I was like, "Yep, of course that explains everything with our coaching staff you need to know." So
wow, that is funny. That's a funny story.
now Syracuse has some pretty awesome jerseys. So what's your favorite Syracuse hockey jersey?
Well, I like the navy. I think it looks pretty sharp, pretty old school looking with just the Syracuse across the top. Yeah, I like the navy. Goes well with the breezers and the helmet.
Now, before we move on from Syracuse, one person I had to reach out to was Digi, who plays on your team. And a couple of things she told me to ask you
Oh
was
yeah.
explain your stick handling police duty.
They call me the stick police because when we're stairs like to stick handle too much before they shoot it. So I always I'm yelling stick handle, no stick handle, and sometimes I just do it to be funny because I mean you only have to stick handle a puck in games and in drills, but there's times when I want them to quickly release the puck. And so I'm like yelling down the ice, like, no stick handle, let's go. And so now I'm the stick handling police.
That's awesome. Now, let me find the other one. It was, oh, she asked one of the two fan questions we got. What is it like to be the backbone of goalie world?
The backbone of goalie world. I don't know. All the other players do really well. I think they're the backbone. I'm just the organizer. We do like to get injured though. It's fun. Like I like to use goalie world as a time where we just have fun on the ice. We crank the tunes, we kind of just go from drill to drill. We're not going, super hard or, working on our conditioning during Royal World. It's just for fun. We get extra reps of shooting and working on some goalie stuff. And we get a lot of laughs out of it. It does us a lot of good just to be out there enjoying our time together.
Now I'll give you a chance to get back at her. I'm going to interview her probably later this week. So, what's one thing everyone should know about her coming on?
I'll have to think hard. I'll have to send you a question to give her. Maybe something will arise after the weekend against Penn State. Maybe
Now,
like what ask her what she had plans on doing in a certain play or something like that. So I'll have to wait and watch the game.
now, take us through signing with the Buffalo Buttes and what it meant to know that you were playing professional hockey.
Yeah, it was cool. Luckily, like um, Nate, the GM, Nate Oliver, he reached out to me in December asking if I would like to join. We've always had a good relationship where we've kept in contact ever since that I've graduated college. And he's just always been a great guy to call and just say, like, we just talk hockey, like, hey, how's the league doing? What's this year look like? How you doing personally, all that stuff. So he's a great guy to always just keep in contact and to talk hockey with. And throughout, like, carrying out those conversations and having a good relationship with him, after I moved out here to Syracuse, he asked me again, hey, how things going? Would you want to join the Buttes? And I was like, hey, like, why not? Why not give it a go? um, so right now i I kind of have my schedule worked out where whatever games I can attend outside of coaching at Syracuse, I get in the car and drive to Buffalo and throw on the Buttes jersey. So
Now, one thing that was mentioned this year and came up at the start or midway through the season, I guess now, the salary cap increase in the PHF. How much does this mean to all you players?
it means a lot. Like it really does. I think of other players as well. We've always had to have in the summertime or even during seasons and during pro hockey where we've had to have 2 to 3 different jobs to support our hockey career. Um, and I mean, there's a lot of hard work that goes into it. I mean, I think like almost every summer I was bartending, coaching, and working at like Lululemon, and like I had about 3 or 4 different jobs or side gigs just to be able to like support my training schedule because you're trying to book these different types of jobs around when you can get ice and all of that stuff and stay in shape. So to have this news about is huge for our game, and it's a huge step forward. I mean, I just think about all the more time and energy that can go to um, growing our game and getting better as hockey players and growing our league. If you just think about all that time that we spend working, it can go now into growing the women's side of the game, which is super exciting. So
Now, one thing that just happened this past weekend, 8 Buttes were selected to be in the All Star game. Luckily, it was in Buffalo this year after the restrictions up here in Ontario caused it to be moved. Just talk about the honor to see so many of your teammates there.
it's awesome. I know I just met like most of those girls, but like it's so cool to see them, and I wish I could have been there to support them and see what the all-star game was like. But obviously, like, our organization is super proud of them. I'm super proud of them. I hope they had a good time. Like it looked like a lot of fun.
Now, every All Star game in the NHL, there's always one superstar that comes out of it with a highlight video. And this year, it had to go to CJ on your team. Talk about Carly Jackson and that shootout goal.
Yeah, she's funny. Like it doesn't surprise me that she had a couple tricks up her sleeve for the shootout goal. So um no, she's super fun to be around. Like I just remember, I mean, I haven't been around the team that much yet, but like the first day, and this just kind of shows you the type of personality she is. The first day I walk into the locker room, I'm meeting everyone. Like I have like, okay, that's so and so, that's so and so. Okay, like I'm introducing myself, and later comes in CJ. She goes, "Hey, Cap, sup, my dude?" And I think from that point on, my shoulders just kind of relaxed. It was like, "Sup, dude?" Like, so it was really cool. Like she's just super chill. Like she said in her interview, she's always vibing. So like, awesome person. I look forward to getting to know her more. Yeah, just a cool personality to have in the locker room.
Now, take us through your first professional game in the league. Who was it against, and what were the nerves like?
It was against Toronto, and we were up in Toronto, and it was tough because I hadn't played game in like 2 years, like a legitimate game. I played some pickup games like consistently throughout these 2 years, but like a official game, I had like the last official game was when we were in Russia. So um, that was it was tough for me because it was on a big ice sheet on the Olympic sheet out there, which is not easy for anyone coming back into the game. But I made it through. It was a tough weekend for our team. We had a couple losses. It was just a tough weekend up there. But I felt like I didn't even have time to have nerves because I was just like focused on training. I was focused on getting back to Syracuse after Christmas break and all that. So I was just like, you know what? I don't got time for nerves. We just got to go in and we got to do it. We got to play and we just got to hope for the best. And so that's what I did.
Now, take us through your first goal in the league, and who was it against?
It was against Minnesota. It was this past weekend, I think, or maybe the weekend before. I don't know, but it was cool. I just got done coaching at RIT, and I didn't really think much I was going to do well in the game that I was going to because I just hopped off the bench, hopped in the car. I drove to Buffalo. I threw the gear on and made it just in time for warm-ups. So I talk about going from job to hockey. Like that's just kind of the lifestyle right now for me. Um, so I didn't really think I was gonna play well. I was just all right. Here's another chance where I just gotta do it. I just gotta play and hope for the best. And that time we had I think I was playing with Missy and Cass, and Cass took the puck along the goal line, just threw it on net, and there was a nice rebound, and I just kind of hit it in, close to the net. So it was cool.
Now, one person on your team that I want to talk about that I've had on in a previous podcast was Hunter and Taylor Kersey, actually, but Captain Kersey talk about what she brings to the table as a leader in that dressing room.
Oh, she's cool. Like I was lucky to have her as a roommate in Toronto. Like I don't think there like she's just great person to have as like the first roommate. Like super chill. Um, it was great. Like that whole night we were just chatting about college hockey. We're around the same age, so I was laughing. She had me laughing, like just spitting out jokes. It was so fun. Um, so it was cool to get her to know her in that sense. Like she was just super chill as a roommate and all that. But I do admire her ability to like show up to the rink and also be chill, but also like if there's something that needs to be said, like she's not afraid to. So I think it's really cool that I had her as a roommate because I got to learn both sides of her as a like a teammate, as a roommate, all that. So it was really cool.
Has she ever told you the Mario Kart story?
No, she is not.
Her and her sister they were like 5 and 7, I think. It got told on the episode with them, but I think it was Hunter hit her with like the Wii remote right in the tooth or right in the mouth or something, and like lost a tooth because Hunter got mad that she lost or something like that. I forget the exact details, but next time you see her, you'll have to bring it up and just say I told you, and she'll know exactly what the story is. So that was a good one that got brought up when I hit them both on. But yeah, that was a one that I always remember for sure.
Cool. I'll have to ask her about it.
Now we'll get into some fun questions here before we wrap things up. If you were left on a stranded island with three of your teammates from the Buffalo Buttes, who would you choose and why?
Well, personally, like this is a hard question. I wish I could like have more time with with my Buffalo Buttes to see who would help me survive stranded on an island. I've only played 4 games with some of them, but I know we'd have a great time. Like I'd say I mean, CJ, like she'd be super chill on the beach, not worried about a thing. Kersey, she'd also be pretty chill, but she'd know like, okay, what do we need to do to survive? And I think Keenan would be a good time too. Like we were in the penalty box the other day and we were just joking around. I think there's a GIF on Twitter of us. She was explaining how she got into the box, and it's just super funny. Like she's going through the motions with her hands, and then she's wrapping her arm around me. Like she's just a fun girl to be around. So those three, I'd pick.
Now, obviously, big series against Penn State this upcoming weekend. What does Syracuse need to do to prepare for going into that arena and playing in front of a sold out arena at Penn State?
Yeah, it. I mean, it is a big weekend for us. It is a big weekend. I think we just need to be focusing on what we've been working on the past couple weeks and playing hard and doing the little things and putting the puck in the net. We've been pretty good at that so far in the second half. So just focusing on the things that we've been working on and keeping it simple.
And now, finally, before we wrap things up here, what's your most embarrassing hockey story?
Oh God, you hit me with one. It's gonna take me a bit to think. I probably have a lot. God, I think one time when we were younger, we were in nationals, and I was a U19 nationals, and um, I wouldn't. Maybe it's embarrassing, but also like it still haunts me in my dreams. And so our gear got locked in someone's rental car, and we're on our way to like the semifinals of uh, the national, like the youth nationals. Like this is the biggest game we've ever played. Um, and I'm sick. I have like the flu or something, and our gear gets locked into someone's rental car at the hotel, which is like an hour away from the rink because there's no hotels. It's a packed nationals tournament. So a parent accidentally took another parent's rental car keys. And they left to go to the rink. So our gear was stuck in a rental car at the hotel, which was an hour away. So we're getting the mom realizes it once she gets to the rink and she's driving all the way back to the hotel. We're freaking out because, we're like, we can't miss this game. So we're getting dressed in the back seat. She's like going super fast on the highway trying to get us to the game. Finally, we roll up again. One of those times where you just hop on the ice for warm-ups and the coach pulls us aside and he's like, all right, it's done. You're here. Go play. Have fun. I mean, to this day, it still like haunts me in my dreams. So I still have dreams about it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's not college where you have an actual long warm up and then a little bit of a break before you get things going. You're still in your minor hockey days, so you warm
Yeah.
up, then you have a speech from your coach on the bench, and you're out there to play. So that one's definitely one where it's
Yeah.
no warm up, and you're just going in after sitting in the car for an hour. So that's that's definitely one.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's definitely one to remember.
Yeah.
But Claudia, I'd like to thank you for coming on here today. We wish you the absolute best of luck the rest of the season in your playing and coaching career. First of all, with the Buffalo Buttes and
Yeah.
coaching with Syracuse. Go out and win a national championship this year.
Oh yeah, that's right. Super excited. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.